Sitting here with Art Huffman, who's going to tell us about when he was a pilot in the war.
This is a story that goes back to 60 years ago, back in 1945 or so, when World War II was going on full bore. And my participation in World War II started when the Japs bombed Pearl Harbor on December the 7th in 1941. And I was able to join the Air Force as an aviation cadet. I was going from Key West, Florida up to Miami and taking a bunch of tests. So those things turned out all right, the tests. And I was started off, get called to a place called Nashville, Tennessee, where the indoctrination started. Go from there, I got through that phase out, got to Montgomery. Montgomery was the second place. That's where they
Alabama?
Morse code and all that kind of business. Find out what makes an airplane fly and all those things. And went from there to Tucson, Arizona. Famous mountain field. They had the best officers, mess and everything you ever had. Good food, which was unusual. So at Tucson, we're fresh out of flying school and we didn't have any experience. This big airplane, it was 4 engines. This rascal right here. That's the one right there. See that one?
That's what you flew?
That's what I flew.
They said you'd flown 2 different ones though. But you told me before that you'd flown 2 different planes. That they took one from you and they gave you a different one?
Different airplane?
Yeah.
Well, that's the same model.
Same kind? I see.
Same model,
Okay.
yeah. So, at Davis Mountain Field in Tucson, we were assigned to, that's where they formed the crew. There's 10-man crew on those airplanes.
10?
And a pilot, and a co-pilot, a navigator, and a bombardier, and a radio man, and an engineer, and 4 gunners.
Oh, gunners.
So instead of being assigned to a crew, I was kept there on standby status. Anybody that needed a co-pilot, I had to fly with them. I wasn't part of the crew, just so the other rest of the guys on that crew could experience. And finally they decided that I had so much time flying co-pilot, they'd give me a crew. So I got my own crew there in Tucson.
And so that made you the pilot, right?
Yeah, I was the pilot then. So we went through our training period there, and then we were shipped out as a crew to out in the desert to Blythe, California. That was a hot spot, almost too hot to fuel airplanes in the daytime.
Wow.
And preparation.
Wow.
So we were what they call third phase training, which is the last training you're going to get before you jump into combat.
Yeah.
So by the time we were supposed to finish up on that third phase training, and the Air Force formed a group, and they pulled everybody out of Blythe and stuck them in this 491st group.
Okay.
And which was a good deal. And from there we went, as a group, we went to Tucson, Arizona.
So how many people were in that group?
In a crew?
No, you said the 491st?
Oh, there's 4 squadrons, 12 in each squadron.
12 people or 12 planes?
12 planes
That's
in
a lot
each
of people.
squadron,
Okay.
yeah.
10
And,
people. So.
We trained all over again. Tucson went through the first 3 phases of training. And thank God, because it was very important to find a good formation, tight formation, right close. Because the Germans, they like to shoot down the stragglers. If you weren't on the ball and keeping up with everything, why, you're in bad shape.
Wow.
So anyway, all that extra training we got was a big help. And from there we flew down this route here, from Tucson down to West Palm Beach, across the Gulf to
Cuba?
British Guiana, and from British Guiana to Belém. From Belém we flew across the ocean to Dakar, Africa.
Wow.
And from Dakar to Marrakech up to England.
Now, how come you didn't just fly right across?
Well, it looks shorter, but it isn't.
The plane can't make it that far?
I don't know, they've got what they call Mercator projection or something. The world is round, so they have to take that straight line and curve it out of the picture.
Yeah.
So a lot of times what you think might be the shortest route is not. When you leave England, you try to fly up here up into Quebec, to land in Quebec. The hell you wind up, where was it up there? I forgot. That was on the way back. But one thing I wanted to tell you about flying across like that in a combat airplane. When I was down here in Belém, well, first of all, we had 2 serious conditions. We were coming into this place. I could smell gasoline
It's bad.
at Elizabethtown or something. And I sent the engineer around and sniffed, trying to find it. Sure enough, it was what they call a Tokyo wing tank. A wingtip tank held 200 gallons of gas. It was leaking. And that leak was coming right down the wing into the flight deck area, or the area right under the flight deck where all the radio equipment and hydraulic pumps and
It's dangerous, right?
very dangerous. So we had to shut down everything. And when we got there, then of course they had to fix it. So we kept back a little bit. Then we came down to Belém to fly across the ocean. It was about 2 o'clock in the morning, pitch black. In fact, it was the most severe thunderstorm I've ever seen in my life.
Were you flying at 2 in the morning?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah. And it was raining. I mean, it was raining hard.
Wow.
It was raining so hard that the water was coming around the windshield. And I was soaking wet from the rainwater.
That's right on the equator, isn't it? Is it?
Pardon?
Is that on the equator?
No, you. See, you're in
Okay.
a different part of the world over here.
Yeah, no, that's right on the equator, though.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
So that's like rainforest.
But that thunderstorm was so bad I wouldn't take off. And the tower says, go, you to the oars, get going. I couldn't even see the runway.
Wow.
And it took off. Anyway, I got off the ground, and instantly that airplane got bouncing so bad, all the gyro instruments tumbled. And the gyro instruments are what you rely on to fly safely and properly and accurately. Instead of being up like this, operating like that, and you couldn't correct it.
Wow.
So the alternative is what we call needle ball airspeed that's hooked up to a pressure system. And you can get by with that if you weren't too bad off. But the needle would be going like this. There's a ball down there going like this, and they're going opposite directions. It was a mess.
Wow.
But we got away with that all right. So anyway,
Was that the start of the trip across the ocean?
that's across the ocean, yeah,
Wow.
non-stop. And hope for good weather.
Wow.
If we'd had bad weather out there, no returning. You don't elect to fly in bad weather and need a ball of airspeed. You may not have any alternative, but it worked.
Wow.
It worked. So we got to England, and our group was assigned a field called Bitfield. And after we'd flown several missions out of Bitfield, somebody dropped a bomb and unloaded it off the truck and blew up the whole darn base.
Wow.
All the airplanes in there, the skins just looked like wrinkled.
Whoa.
And
Destroyed all the planes?
yeah, nobody, they're all on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
All on the ground. But then they sent us over to another base called North Pickenham. And we finished up there. And I think I was there just a little less than 6 months. Through 31 missions. Didn't get shot at. We got shot at, but we didn't. We had holes, but we didn't have anything dangerous, and nobody got any shell fragments or anything.
Wow.
So we
Where did you?
out of that. And we looked on a region I mentioned earlier. That the extra training we had in Tucson was what gave us the advantage as far as the Germans were concerned. And they could still put up people. Like I said, I finished, my crew finished first in the squadron that we were in. And the squadron commanders said, Huff, what do you want to do? I said, what do you mean? I got a choice. He said, yeah. I said, what are they? He said, well, you can fly the forming ship, you can check out new crews, you can fly the weather ship, or you can come in operations. What do you want to do? I said, you forgot something. And he said, what's that? I said, I want to go home. He said, dude. I said, hell yeah. So he sent us off for a week's vacation.
Nice.
Came back, I had been promoted to a captain. And I didn't know it. He hadn't said a word about it.
Oh wow.
He said, us married guys got us together. And so he was giving me a pay increase.
That's great.
And when we got back to the States, when I was sent to Fort Worth, Texas for physical. Maybe your granddad gave me a physical. Anyway, that physical turned out to be, like I told you the other day, what fighter did you fly, Captain? I said, B-24. He said, oh, no. I said, yeah. I said, why? And he said, well, you're supposed to weigh 175 pounds and be 5 feet 10 to be the pilot on the B-24. I was 5 feet 6 and 128. Very much too little to fly the airplane, but it worked.
I guess they needed people. Was that it, or?
Pardon?
I guess it was because they needed people, or how did that work? How did you wind up getting past the ranks?
I don't know. Well, I told you how I got the pilot's job in Tucson.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had been flying another willy-nilly with anybody.
Okay.
And then he gave me a crew of my own.
I see.
My crew was real good. They